I think when a lot of people out there, they contact me and they get in touch with me and they say, look, how do I raise my kid in this? And I had a long conversation with Joe Ball about this, kind of going back and forth on, modern day parenting in America, because look, I'm not a parent. So it's interesting to hear people and how they're dealing with this, how they're, coping with essentially the issues we have today, where you said it the other day, you can't put on Disney and leave it and walk out of the room with your kids anymore. You can't do that. You're living in a world where that's not possible.
Andrew, I'm going to tell you, like when I was a little kid, my family has had annual passes literally for going back 20 years. And when we were kids, we went all the time. And my memories of Disneyland in California is holding my little sister. I think she was 7, I was 12, whatever. And I'm holding her hand, around Disneyland. That's my first, someone says Disneyland, that's one of my first memories. And I never got a chance to go to Disney World. I still haven't been. It's always been on my laundry list. When my kid, Max, how old was he? Was he 6? Yeah, he was 6. So for his 6th birthday, I told him when he turned 10 that summer we would go to Disneyland. Now let's go back in time. That's 4 years ago. That's before a lot of this woke stuff. That's pre-COVID. It's pre a lot of stuff, right? And recently, he just turned 10. It was his birthday about a month ago. And I said, hey, what's our plan for the summer? We're going to go to the Kennedy Space Museum. And what else do you want to do? And I kind of left it open. He doesn't know about my anti-Disney stuff on YouTube. He doesn't see the streams that I do. And he says, well, Dad, I was going to ask you, I want to go to Universal instead. And Andrew, I got to tell you, one of my big dreams that I had when I was younger, and I said, someday I want to be a dad. One of my dreams was that as a dad, I wanted to take my kid, my 10, 11, 12-year-old, when he, not when he's 2 and 3 and can enjoy it, but when he's, older, like when I was,
right.
I want to take him and have that same experience, but that experience is gone. It is gone. Now, my sister is still a huge Disney, and I'm just going to say it. She and I get in fights all the time. She's still total
pixie
Disney, duster, Disney adult.
Well, they just go like this, and they just ignore. They literally ignore all the bad stuff. They're like, well, I just and I'll hear that from people. They're like, well, I just like the old cartoons and the movies. I'm like, yeah, but do you have a Disney Plus subscription? Are you going an annual pass holder? You're subsidizing this, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but you're approving of it, right? By continuing to purchase the product, right? There's a point at which they could argue that it was a one-off and that they might look at the box office, but they're committed to this now. They are 100% tripling down.
So the last time that I went was February of last year with my sister. She had annual passes. She said, please go with me. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. And so I take my sister. Now she's grown up now, right? I mean, she's she's a pixie duster. She's a Disney adult.
No. And by the way, Mike, I lived in Orlando, right? So, and a lot of the people there, especially the girls, that was a really freaky thing. When you went on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever, and you swiped, you could tell by seeing whether they have the Mickey ears, the mini ears, in their photos, in their profile photos.
My sister does.
It was so many. And it was because they all come to Central Florida and they spend all of their money. These people are baristas. These people are minimum wage workers. And they are spending hundreds of dollars every weekend at Disney.
That's my sister.
And they live in poverty. And they do
my
nothing.
Sister. She lives in Palmdale in the middle of nowhere in a rented house that's in the worst neighborhood that you hear gunshots at night. But when it's Disney time, she'll take that annual pass and she'll blow cash left and right. She's exactly that, Andrew. So I went there, and when I walked in, and they didn't say welcome boys and girls, which I would have been used to since I was a kid, and it was startling to me. It was like, I was like, this was a year ago, February, and it was like startling to me. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now it's, ladies and what is it? No,
no, it's not ladies and gentlemen. It's like
persons,
welcome
people.
No, it's welcome one and all. It's something like that.
One and all, yeah. One and all, no matter if you're a birthing person or non-birthing person.
But it's like you said, it's like my kid. If someone would have ever told me, Andrew, that I would not trust my 10-year-old too, and let's go down the list. Number one, I don't want him to go to Disney World, especially after that Iger call that we can get into, where they're gonna, there's gonna be gay pride. Events openly at all the parks and parades booked, just like, the neon light and the fireworks. So that's number one. So we're not
going. And by the
way,
these are people that have said, and we got out there, and this was on the call. They said these people, these organizations have said, we want to convert your kids. We want to T your kids. We want to, LGBTQA XYZ your kids. That is our mission, to force that upon your children. These are pretty twisted individuals. Like, that is pretty sick. I am all for people's freedom when you're an adult to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I've never been a person who's infringed upon that. But this children thing is the line that I think, and this is where it comes out to, Mike. I think this is the line that swings the Hispanic community too. I think that's the one. I think especially when you get with family, you start fucking with kids. I think a lot of those people, even the lifelong Democrats, I think it finally gets to them when it comes to their kids.
I hope it's going to start to, because I'm going to tell you, Democrats. I mean, I look at myself. If I had met you years ago, you and I would have gotten into it, and you would have looked at me like I was delusional, because guess what, Andrew? I was delusional. Okay. I was completely delusional. But, looking to where I'm at now, if someone would have told me I don't want to take my kid to Disneyland or Disney World, and thank God he told me, he wants to go to Universal. I'll get to why he told me that in a minute. Yeah, I took away his Disney Plus off his iPad. Canceled Disney Plus and took it off, right? So he doesn't have access. If someone would have told me that, I wouldn't feel comfortable letting him watch Disney TV shows or even say Disney movies, because before you go, whether he's with me or his mom or his grandparents or his mom's parents, we talk about everything that he sees. But if someone would have told me that I don't want my kid to see Disney movies, Disney TV shows, and go to Disney parks, I would have been like, no way. That cannot be a reality that's in my future as a father. But that is the reality that I'm in right now.
Yeah, and that's a crazy reality. Like, I remember going to Disney with my family, and that was actually like a very cool, good memory, right? Because it was wholesome. It was very wholesome. And now they've taken this wholesome thing. They've really taken everything that's wholesome and perverted it, made it sexual. And it didn't need to be sexual. It was never needed to be sexualized, never needed to be politicized. I never thought of Disney as political as a kid growing up. Now, the image, because they're saying it. They're saying this is what we want to do. This is what we are actively trying to do. We are actively trying to push this agenda. You can't remove it when you see it. That's how being kind of red-pilled on it ruins the movies for you. That's why a lot of times people will say, oh, do you want to go see this movie? And I'll say, I can't, because I know that what the director said. I know what they've said, and they've said this is political. And they'll say, oh, no, but I heard it's good. I'm like, I don't care. Because even if some Rotten Tomatoes said it's good, we all know that's fake, right? But the normies don't know, and they'll read Rotten Tomatoes, and they'll say, oh well, Rotten Tomatoes said this is fantastic, and I'm like, yes, but those are all paid shilled, and they'll look at me like I'm crazy. They'll look at me like I just said the lunar landing was faked, right?
But we're not crazy. But we're not crazy. You're not crazy. And the other thing, I just heard a breaking rumor news. I don't know what it is, but Pro says that WDW Pro says that they're even. Now the theme parks, they're thinking about taking Frontierland, gutting it, and replacing it with Tiara's Black Louisiana, whatever the hell adventure, or whatever. Not just the Splash Mountain thing, frankly, but all of Frontierland. And Andrew, I'm just like,
Mike, I hope they do it. I hope they do it, because to me, I've gotten accelerationists with Disney. I've gotten they need to fail hard so that the old stuff can come back.
Well, I'm with you too. I believe in that too, but it just pisses me off, because I'm like, what's wrong with white people? And you know what? I take a lot of white people. I take a lot of heat. I take a lot of heat from ethnic minorities that are in the fandom and outside. They're like, Mike, I'm like, what's wrong? I mean, go Team Cracker. I mean, look. Look, I know I was big Chicano pride, but let me just say something, Andrew. I don't want my land back, because Mexican Iron Man does not want to live in a teepee. Okay? Teepees. I don't want to be in a teepee down by the river on my own land. And let me tell you something. I also don't want my Aztec Empire back. I don't want any pyramids. None of those fucking buildings.
No Chiclan. You're all right.
I don't want any pyramids.
No flying serpent. You're good.
No, bro. Those pyramids look cool, but they don't have any HVAC. There's no air conditioning.
Have you seen Apocalypto? Apocalypto.
Yeah, no, Mexican Iron Man. What am I gonna do? Put a bone in my nose?